Hey everyone, it is Ampking101 bringing you a slider set for Madden 25 on the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the game. I know I'm a little late. Football season is over, and I figure better late than never. Been talking about doing it for a little bit, haven't gotten around to it till now. Um, but we'll go over it. This video right here is just going to be the settings and the sliders and me just talking a little bit on them. Um, but I'll speak more for why I have them the way that they are and what I believe that they do in actual gameplay. And I'm going to be uploading multiple games, not just one. So you guys can kind of see what you're doing, or to see what I'm doing and why I have it the way that I do. Um, this set is probably not going to work for a whole lot of people, but my hope is that I can bring you guys some better understanding on what I believe the sliders do. I'm not an expert. All I'm going to say on them is speculation. What I see, what I experience. Your experience may be different, but hopefully we can all bring a better understanding of what the sliders do. Um, with what I'm doing here. I'll probably play around with the sliders more. It's not a finished set. There's still a lot of stuff that I'm trying to work on making better. I'll go over those things also in later videos. But just to give you a quick insight, I'll try to make this video short. I started this franchise a couple of days ago. I'm playing with the Falcons. I'm 1-3 right now, which I like that record because the last couple of franchises that I've done, I've gone multiple seasons undefeated with different slider sets. So I'm liking this slider set more. It's giving me a challenge. Most of the games that I'm having, all the games that I lost, have been very close games. They've been less than an 8-point difference. So this I'm having a lot of uh, luck with these sliders right now. Um, I had one game where I was playing with the Minnesota Vikings. I was the Minnesota Vikings. I think I was going against. Um, I may have been going against the Lions. I'm trying to remember, but I did get blown out with these sliders. So that will happen sometimes. The sliders aren't perfect. I actually liked getting blown out for once. It doesn't happen very often. But I believe the final score was like 45-66. Um, so I mean, it was a good game. It was just I got blown out. The scores are going to be a little higher than I would like. Certain stats will be higher than I like, especially the CPU passing stats. Those tend to get high sometimes. Can't get around that with a challenge for me. You guys may not need that for a challenge. I do need that for a challenge. I'm pretty good at this game. I'm not great. I'm not the best. I am not, you know, the best at this game by far. I've seen people that are much better. I have been beat. So this is a slider set for somebody who is good. Who is really good. So you guys may not need a slider set this high, but well, hopefully we can all work together to build a perfect slider set, which is what I'm trying to do here. So, anyways, let's take a look at the settings. The settings that I use are, of course, I have salary cap on. Skill level I have on all Madden. I don't play on anything less. I used to play on All Pro, then started destroying All Pro. So I had to move to All Madden. Haven't found a slider set that works for anything less than All Madden. That gives me a challenge. So maybe there's a slider set out there that could give me a challenge on All Pro, but I have not found it. So All Madden is what I play on. I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people think that All Madden can be cheap. but Madden as a whole can be cheap sometimes. It's just a little more obvious on all Madden. This slider set takes some of those things away, I personally think, but you're still going to see it. That's how Madden is, especially on the Xbox 360 and PS3. So, I play on all Madden. I don't know if these sliders will work on all Pro. I might give a look at that and see if those do. Maybe put up a video showing you guys what it looks like on all Pro. But anyways, I play on all Madden. I use GameFlow. The reason I use GameFlow is because, and I only call GameFlow. The only time I ever actually call a play myself is if it's an absolute need to call a play. And I'm just meaning that say there's 15 seconds left in the second quarter, and they want me to kick a field goal. I would prefer to try to take one shot at the end zone rather than just to take the field goal. So I would go and call my own play at that point. But other than situations like that, I call game flow all the time. And this came from a rule that me and a couple of friends made doing a franchise where we were just destroying the computer on default all Madden. And so we decided to give the computer a little more of a challenge, we would just call game flow. And it worked interestingly because it made the game more fun. For us personally, it's fun to kind of play the aspect that an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator are calling your plays. We still audible, still call hot routes. Try not to a whole lot, but we do, and you'll see the way I kind of go about it in gameplay. But for the most part, we only call game flow, and it's been fun. It feels realistic. It feels like a coach is actually calling the plays for us. So we like that. Quarter length, 7 minutes. Reason I don't play on higher minutes, like 10, 12, 15, like some slider sets out there say to do, is because I do not play with an accelerated clock. I don't like it. I like to do my own clock management. I may lower the quarter length for some videos that I'm putting up just so they're not so long. But because I'm going to try to keep editing as little as I can because I'm going to be talking while I'm playing. I don't like to do post commentary. So I'm going to be talking while I'm doing them. So I'm probably going to drop the quarter length to about 5 minutes. I may turn accelerated clock on, but I do not like it on when I'm just playing for fun. I like to play with my own clock management. I like to keep if I don't want to run anything off the clock, I don't have to. If I want to run the clock down, I like doing that myself. So I like to play with it off. The only time that it becomes a problem is there's a glitch in Madden where if there is an injury, and there's an injury timeout, and the computer has the ball. They will wait till about the 32-second mark to hike the ball. And that can be a little annoying sometimes, but it's one of the few things you have to deal with the accelerated clock off. But I don't mind it too much. That's about the only problem I have. Game speed. Okay, game speed I play with normal. I used to play with it on slow. I like it on slow because it's more realistic. If you go and watch NFL games, the speed of the players fits more to the slow category of game speed than the normal. But I believe playing with it on slow hurts the computer more and makes them less of a challenge. So I play with it on normal. I would like to find a way to play with it on slow while still getting a pretty good challenge. But right now, normal is what I'm playing with it on. Player progression, end of the season. Most people like to play with it on every week or every 4 weeks. I do not like that. I think it hurts the computer progression. With end of season, I see them putting points into more traits. I see them putting points into more of the stats that matter. And I see overalls go up quite a bit at the end of the season of the computer teams. Now, a lot of people I think have this confused because I think a lot of people think that this dictates when you can progress your players, and that's not the case. Um, this is only for when the CPU can progress their players. You can still progress them at any time of the season. It doesn't matter. Um, so if you have it at the end of the season, you don't have to wait to the end of the season to do your own players. It's just for the computer. And like I said, I prefer it at the end of the season because I think it helps the computer more to have it at the end of the season. Anyway, so I have gameplay tuning on. I have injury on. I do not play with pre-existing injuries. Trade deadline on. Trade type enable all. Now the reason that I have it this way, trades do happen quite a bit, but nothing major. You don't see a whole lot of people change hands. You just see some trades happen. Um, but I like having enable all because I only use the trade block to trade for players. I only get players off of the trade block. And I only use the trade block to trade my players. So I like this because it keeps the trade block filled at all times. Um, and it keeps, like, not, the same players are not always on the trade block. So, generally they'll trade for a player that actually, they need, say because they have an injury or whatnot. So I like that aspect. Relocation settings I have disabled. Heat Seeker and Ball Hawk. I have both of these on because I believe that the game was made to have these on in mind. And I also have Auto Strafe on the top, as you can see. I play with these on because I believe that the game was made with these on. And Heat Seeker and Ball Hawk being on make the defense play better. And the defense needs a lot of help. Offense is way too overpowered in this iteration of Madden. And so I believe Heat Seeker on and Ball Hawk on help the defense in the places that it needs to be helped. And so that's why I leave them on. Some people don't like them on. You don't need to have them on. But I like them on, and so I play with them on. Switch Assist, I'm not sure what that does. Most of the sliders I've come across have them off, so I haven't really played with it. I don't know what it does, and I really don't feel the need to figure out what it does because I don't think it would do much. Switch Assist doesn't really tell me a whole lot other than helping to assist the switch, whatever that is. Maybe you guys can tell me what it means or what it does. But I don't really feel an overwhelming need to try out what it does. So I leave it off. You guys may want it on. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to the sliders that I have. Like I said, I'm going to try to run through this real quick and I'll explain most of them later. QB accuracy for the player 5, pass blocking 0, wide receiver catching 20, run blocking 0, fumbles 25, pass defense reaction time 50, interceptions 20, pass coverage 10, tackling 20. For the computer side of the sliders, you have QB accuracy at 75, pass blocking at 0, wide receiver catching at 90, run blocking at 0, fumbles at 50, pass defense reaction time at 100, interceptions at 90, pass coverage at 10, tackling at 100. I have the special team sliders default. Game options, injuries at 13, fatigue 60, and minimum player speed threshold at 75. Now, the reason that I have the injuries so low is because I believe injuries happen way too often on the game. And I like to have it lower because I like to only see about 1 or 2 injuries a game. That's about what happens in real life. and it happens way too often any higher, especially when I play with a higher fatigue. And I like playing with a higher fatigue because I like my players to get tired, especially if I'm having an extremely long drive. I like my players getting tired. So especially with fatigue higher, injuries happen a whole lot more frequently. And so with the injuries here, I have seen a handful of injuries happen in a game, but it's very, very rare. Generally, I see about one or two injuries a game, and I like that because it doesn't. It's not always major injuries. It's not always minor injuries. I usually see a good disparity between them. In another franchise that I'm doing with a couple of friends, I have 4 injuries out right now. That range between 3 weeks and 6 weeks, and that's in the first about 6 weeks of the season. Now, a lot of people might think that's a lot, but just to give you a little bit of insight, I believe this last season the Falcons had about 8 injuries. This last season. Um, some of them came back, some of them didn't, but I believe they had around 8, give or take. I believe it was about 8 injuries on both offense and defense. And so 4 injuries isn't really that big of a of that big of a difference. Hopefully, I don't see a whole lot more. Hopefully, I don't see 10 injuries or whatnot. Injuries that are out for more than just a game. Um, but this set works for me right here. Minimum player speed threshold, I'll kind of get more on that in a little bit. Most people like it on 0. I used to play on 0. I think it hurts the computer more to play on 0. The ball carriers aren't, especially running the ball, I believe it hurts them to have it on 0. So 75 I've seen works the best for me. Maybe different from you. You may like it at 0. If so, keep it at 0. But I play with it at 75. Penalties, I'm not going to say a whole lot about penalties. I'm not entirely sure what they do. I'm going to start playing around with them a little bit. But what I found, I like them, especially with the penalties I actually get. I know they affect gameplay, and that's why I'm saying I won't really talk on them because I don't know what they do when they affect gameplay. But I like what I get with these on my actual penalties. I get a good amount of encroachments. When I say a good amount, I mean I'll get 1 or 2 a game, maybe 3 on the most. False starts I'll get once in a while. Holding I'll get once, or actually holding I get quite a bit on kick returns, which happens in real life. There's a lot of times that when a ball is returned, there is holding or clipping on the play. That does happen a lot in real life. But anyway, I'll go over these more when I've had more of a chance to play with them. But for right now, they work great. These are default slider set from Jared's black set. Most of these are from Jared's black slider set. If you haven't seen Jared's slider set, go take a look at it. It's on Operation Sports. It's a great. He's great at putting together slider sets. I've been using him since Madden 12, and honestly, I would still be using them, but I just don't have much of a challenge with them anymore. So anyways, the offsides is 100. The false start is 50. The holding is 57. Face mask is 55. The interferences, defensive, offensive, and punt is 100. The clipping is at 55, and intentional grounding is at 100, and roughing the passer is 53, and roughing the kicker is at 100. So I'll stop the video here. I'll talk a little bit more about the slider set and whatnot in a gameplay video I'll upload after this. But hopefully this will help some of you guys, and maybe some of you guys can help me out make my slider set better. So with that, thank you, and I will see you next time.